Normally there's two kinds of gunfights you could possibly get into. Number one will be a 1 or 2 second gunfight. This is going to be to your advantage to keep it as 1, but 2 at the max. The shorter the time, the better chances you're going to live. And that's going to be one gunfight. And another one is going to be a prolonged gunfight. And now that's going to be, let's say, in your house, you hear some intruders in your house in the middle of the night. And as you're getting around, you don't know how many, and you don't know for sure where they're at because they're kind of scattered around. And so when the shooting starts, it's going to take more than a couple seconds when it gets going. Okay, number one, 1 or 2 second gunfight. You'll find that most of the time in a self-defense type shooting. And that's like what I was in the convenience store with the robbers came in with the weapons drawn. What I had to do is arm myself and prepare to get in a gunfight. And so I did, and I waited. And then when they turned on me, that's when I started, and it was less than a second, and I realized I had the advantage. And in less than that second, they realized they had the disadvantage. The only problem was I didn't know how many were outside. I knew there was 2 inside, but I didn't know how many were outside. So I didn't know if it was going to be a 1 or 2 second gunfight or if it was going to be a prolonged gunfight. But it ended up being a 1 or 2 second gunfight. So then this would be the same thing that you would use in your home as you have home invaders. You want to make it as quick as possible. The quicker the gunfight, the better your chances of survival. Or like what I was in the convenience store. It was in the business when it was getting robbed. Same thing, you want to make it as quick as possible to get through these things. But the 1 or 2 second gunfight is to your advantage, especially because you are picking the time on when it's going to happen. So you prepare, you get in position, and then you start. And that's when you're going to have the advantage, and you will survive a 1 or 2 second gunfight. The second gunfight that you could get into would be a prolonged gunfight. The longer a gunfight goes on, the less likely you're going to survive. Now, I'm not talking as a professional, but I am talking as a normal person. Okay, on a prolonged gunfight, there's going to be cover. You're going to be needing cover, and your threat's going to be taking cover. When that happens, that's what's going to make it prolonged. That's what's going to lengthen the gunfight. Okay, now when that happens, you better have the proper weapons. And like I say, this is where the AK and the shotgun, that's where they come in. Because once somebody starts taking cover, you're going to need something more than a light duty handgun to get to them. So this is where you're going to need the heavier duty stuff, especially if you're outnumbered. You're really going to have the firepower to make up for the numbers. And so that's going to have to be very important to make sure you've got the availability of other weapons. Another thing is going to be distractions. Once they take cover and then they get in position, they're going to hold an area. And then once they hold this area, or same thing you're going to be holding the area and they're coming to you. Either way, you're going to need something to distract them. If you're going to them, you're going to need something to make them look one direction while you go on one side. Okay? Or if they're coming to you, you're going to have to give them a distraction, make them look somewhere else. This will give you a better chance to get some damage done to them before they get to you. In the way of distractions, we're talking about, like in my particular case, I use a car alarm, in which when I push the little key remote, I can set off the alarm. You're going to have sirens and lights and all kinds of stuff going on. And that will make them panic, in which that'll help me. And then the same thing, I'll use fire extinguishers or smoke bombs. Any of this type of stuff will stop their vision, in which that will help make them panic or not think what they're supposed to be doing. So you need something for a distraction. And you need the proper weapons, and you're going to need cover when it comes to a prolonged gunfight.